So last week I did a recording on a video on being seen and how important that is for going internal and seeing who you are, listening to who you are, and being able to share that with the world. And sometimes how that's more necessary than not, because a lot of times people don't see us. But I was having a conversation with a friend last night, and we were talking about the importance of community. And it reminded me that in addition to being seen on your own, learning to put yourself out there is also this need for community. So there's both the individual desire and need to be seen and the need to share that with the world in order to grow. And then there's also this communal sense of being seen and being connected and shining. And when in community, there are different aspects about ourselves that are uncovered when we brush up against other people. So, for example, I wrote an article a few years ago about being able to shine and how we are all like diamonds, uh, where when somebody shines a light on an aspect of who we are, maybe that we knew about ourselves before, but they affirm it, that's we know ourselves. And then there are people that come into our lives that shine a light on something that we didn't know about ourselves. And that's where we become multifaceted individuals. And we are multifaceted, but we don't always know how to access that point. So I wanted to add on to not only are we individuals and we need to take responsibility for shining and being seen outwardly towards others so that we can be bigger and more purposeful in our lives, we also are inextricably linked to our communities. And that's a critical piece because we need each other to understand ourselves. We also need ourselves to go deep and really understand who we are. And then we need that outside community to brush up against us. And it's important because when people brush up against us, I'm not talking about the people who know us really well, although that's helpful, but generally the people who know us really well or the people that we're close to are the ones that we trust. It's pretty easy to connect with them. But when you start to go outside of your community, your immediate community, you start to brush up against people who maybe agitate you and maybe you don't like them as much, or maybe you're a little bit envious of who they are. But when you sit down and have a conversation with them or you work on a project together, you start to learn new things from them because essentially you've seen yourself as these certain things. And when you brush up against somebody else, your edges kind of get refined. And so it's like that diamond where you start to see yourself in new ways. You experience yourself in new ways. So the communal piece is critical, and yet these two things need to be held in tandem. We need to know ourselves very deeply in order to be discerning about our life and our direction and our path and who's in our life and what people are saying to us, what society is saying to us. And then there's the other piece where we do need community. It's part of how we grow and we morph and we change and we evolve. We have to be careful about that. But in order to truly shine on all levels and on all cylinders, we need each other. So I'm curious if you've experienced kind of brushing up against somebody, maybe who's somebody who you didn't like at first, and then they started to rub off on you and you realize, oh, they have a different understanding about something that I've been thinking about, or they're helping me in a new way to see life with a new vision. Let me know what you think about that.